Hello, this is the strategic recommendations for the company Zola, presented by Craig Gordavarty, Timothy Grossman, Melissa Smith, and Shanita Swinson. As we've seen, Zola has already gotten itself off the ground and has done so at such a breakneck pace that has garnered the attention of millions of users. The big question is, however, what's next? We've identified three areas where the company can start to push for further growth. It can double down on its expansive registry capabilities. It can change lanes to be the next premier home goods seller. Or perhaps it can take on the allure of the wedding industry. Regardless, strategic mission needs to be clear and concise, something tangible for investors to latch onto and believe in. Next big question for the company is regarding the structure of the company and the brand. In an incredibly short time, the workforce for Zola has grown from 5 employees to 27 and can conceivably require more staffing in the future. We feel that in order to take the next step, there is a need here that must be addressed. Finally, the last hurdle that needs to be overcome is the question of funding. While the company on its own has seen tremendous success, it needs capital to help push it to real sustainable profitability. This can be achieved through venture capital, finding an investor, working on becoming an acquisition target. Prior to making our recommendations, we would like to review the pros and cons of the previously mentioned growth paths. The first path to review is expanding the registry options to include other registries. Those established very clear differentiators against their competitors, and expansion to baby and beyond would be easy. The reason being that users already utilize Zola to help with their baby registries. This would not only help expand that business, but also grow the CLV, or customer lifetime value. Growing the company to include other registries such as children's birthdays or graduations too could afford Zola the opportunity to partner with large industry players such as Target or Babies R Us. There are some headwinds when it comes to following this path though. Firstly, baby gifts are much more date sensitive than wedding gifts. There are also concerns about the ability of baby product vendors not having readily available drop shipping or gift wrapping. The current logistical system, too, would also have to be upended and require partnering with other companies, affecting the bottom line. It is also noteworthy to consider that the average baby registry is only $40 versus $130 for the current wedding registries, making the efforts for greater return value less substantial. The second growth path to review is all things home. By focusing on developing an online home store, Zola could again utilize its proven capabilities and online user experience to capture a small percentage of the $104 billion home goods market, which again could potentially increase the customer lifetime value, or CLV. As with baby registries, current Zola customers already continue to shop for products for their homes well after the registries have been completed. Additionally, Zola product development team expertise could work towards offering a more streamlined online process, an interesting array of products that, based on captured consumer data, could be more suited towards the individual customer's tastes and needs. This, in the end, could create a competitive advantage for Zola in this market. However, one of the cons for entering this market, Zola will be faced with a steep competition like Amazon and Wayfair. These large market leaders operate with significant economies of scale, which allows them to infrequently discount products and offer expedited shipping to meet the needs of the comparison shopper. It would be a big move away from the gifting market Zola currently resides within, a market where the best deal wasn't top of the mind and the margins remain high. Additionally, Zola would want to consider investing in and establishing a brick-and-mortar presence, because people typically like to touch and feel furniture appliances prior to purchasing them. The final possible growth path is all things wedding. Focusing on deepening Zola's roots into the $70 billion wedding industry can prove to be a profitable move for Zola. Zola has completed quite a bit of research in this space, and it's a fairly clear view on the pain points for customers going through the wedding planning process. Your research on these pains and associated solutions is what made Zola so successful to date. There's still a lot of room to expand horizontally in this area to help address other pain points related to wedding planning. As it relates, Zola can minimize expenses by continuing to leverage your team's expertise in optimizing design to offer free personalized websites. Couples who utilize the free website can be converted into revenue-generating customers via the registry. Zola has a distinct advantage in knowing how and where to acquire these customers. Of course, there's also negatives associated with this, and pursuing this growth plan would require Zola to potentially compete more closely with established sites, such as The Knot and Wedding Wire, who dominate in this advanced space. Zola could also damage relationships with The Knot and Appy couple, which would minimize the customer pipeline provided via paid advertising on those sites because they offer personalized websites as well. Based on our third review of the three strategic directions outlined, We recommend at this time for Zola to dig deeper into the $70 billion wedding industry in order to maintain the level of growth seen to date. Our recommendations are supported by a number of key factors. First, the level of competition within the wedding registry sector has drastically increased in the past few years as companies like WeddingWire, MyRegistry, and Newlywish aim to find some unique differentiators. It is imperative that Zola remain focused on this industry and be able to foresee some of the new challenges. With this growing competition, it will be important for Zola to continue to maintain its valuable partnerships it has with its current and future brand partners. Zola has room to continue to expand its available product lines, and with the established business model, will be able to help secure said relationships. I feel it makes sense to continue on this path to optimize the existing product and market fit. We also believe it is important to emphasize utilizing resources effectively. One example of a company, the Gilt Group, displayed the strains of expanding into too many places too quickly. While it was one time on top, its overly eager desires to grow took the company into too many different verticals, pulling resources from its areas of strength and stretched the company too thinly. This resulted in the loss of market share by competitors who easily replicated their model. We would hope to avoid this here with Zola. Lastly, there still remains a large opportunity even within the current wedding registry market. At this time, Zola has tens of thousands of couples registered on their site, but the market indicates that 2 million couples get married every year. While Zola is the fastest growing wedding registry, there's still a much bigger piece of this $19 billion wedding gift market available to capture. And with further emphasis on additional wedding planning components, the opportunity could be even larger. In order to achieve said goals, we are recommending a horizontal growth strategy where Zola aims to increase the range of products and services available in the current wedding market to engage couples. While the Zola management team has identified a number of different pain points within the wedding planning process, the recommended first step is to leverage the technology and design strengths of the team to establish free templates for personalized couple websites. The current team has expertise in optimizing design for users and could easily transfer those skills into establishing personalized wedding websites, all without needing to reach out beyond the existing staff. In turn, these websites could serve an important initial purpose of drawing in more couples who may then become revenue-generating customers via the registry. This is a form of growth hacking where Zola would be offering an innovative way to connect the registry and other services to more of the people who are bound to love it. One of the potential risks is the offering could minimize the customer pipeline provided via paid advertising on the not unhappy couple. In addition to being a driver for customers, websites provide a foundational platform by which to add direct links to the registry, as well as additional outlets in the future. This might include planning checklists, decision trees for such important decisions as venue or honeymoon locations, guest lists, and thank you lists, and so much more. The personalized approach, coupled with the no-cost entry, will enable Zola to reach an even broader, primarily millennial audience, with prompt greater word-of-mouth referrals, ultimately will help drive the growth revenue Zola continues to seek. In order to accomplish the growth and goals that have been set forth so far, the company's leadership needs to make an important decision on how to organize or reorganize the management team to properly and efficiently oversee the strategic growth of Zola moving forward. Our recommendation is that the current CEO promotes an internal candidate to be the president and COO, where that COO reports directly to the CEO and will oversee all finance, merchandising, and operations of the company. Adding a new member to the management team to oversee the function of the business will only help to supplement the current management's strength, and is something that we find is essential. This would help to alleviate concerns of control, as well as keep the current workspace culture the same, whereas bringing someone potentially from the outside could upset those values if brought in and placed somewhere atop the organizational structure. Making this management team decision firmly and confidently will allow the CEO to focus on raising capital and also allow her to speak to the strengths of her team to investors. In terms of the approach to raising capital, we are recommending at this stage the company continues to move forward with raising Series B capital funding. Series B funding is all about scaling, which ties in perfectly with our recommendation to stay focused on the core business model and continue to scale by taking aim at the wedding industry. While the thought of being an acquisition target could be a possibility, Zola's track record of success does not warrant that option. Considering the size and newness of the brand, keeping the reins with the founders makes the most sense. Series B funding will pull investors who believe in the company and the potential of the brand, instead of looking to see how the business could be supplemented with their own ideas. Zola and its brands will do well to try and capture the large market involving the wedding industry. While this area is tight and highly competitive, we feel that Zola is in a position to quickly acquire a large share of the business while becoming a true force in the sector. One of the biggest hurdles for any startups is recognizing the need for more hands on deck. There's an allure to working for a small type firm. However, there are limitations to holding back improving the company's personnel structure. By adding a president and COO that comes from within the current team, Zola can maintain the cultural identity it has fostered amongst its current team and extrapolate that out as the business expands. Lastly, it's without a doubt that Zola will need to garner more funding to help push into the wedding industry. We suggest meeting with investors and working towards a Series B round of funding. This will help keep Zola's entrepreneurial roots flourishing by being propped up by individuals believing what the company and brand can do. By enacting these suggestions quickly and effectively, there is no doubt that the company and brand will continue to maximize their opportunities. From those opportunities, we are all confident that Zola will continue to see impressive levels of success as they already have.